So, postpartum shedding. Let's talk about it. So in my experience, during the entire 9 months of my pregnancy, my hair was in the best health. By best health, I mean it was growing long, it was growing thick, minimal shedding, wash days were a breeze, minimal detangling, just perfect, as well as my skin. So that is during the entire 9 months of my pregnancy. Now I knew about postpartum shedding, so I did some research on it and watched some videos about women who had been through it and what they recommended you do to try to minimize the effect. And the majority of them would say to continue taking your prenatal vitamins. So that was the plan, and that's what I decided to do, that I would continue taking my prenatal vitamins after I gave birth. Most of them also said they started experiencing postpartum shedding around a 3 to 4 month postpartum. So that's what I was expecting in my head. So I had my baby in May of 2022, and I was like, okay, this is it. I need to continue taking my prenatal vitamins. So that's what I did. 3 months later, 4 months later, 5 months later, I did not experience any hair shedding, nothing. My hair was even longer, it was even thicker, and it was as healthy and the longest and thickest it had ever been. Now fast forward to 7 months postpartum. At this point, I had forgotten all about the possible shedding that I was going to be experiencing. I had slacked off my prenatal vitamins. I was not consistent with it anymore. I could go days, even weeks in between taking it. I just wasn't taking it that seriously. I felt like at this point, I made it this far. I don't really need it. My hair is doing just fine. Now, 7 months postpartum was when my breastfeeding journey started declining. By declining, I mean the 7-month mark was when my son was not nursing directly on the boob anymore, but I still kept pumping. The goal was for him to be on breast milk up until he was 1. So I still continued pumping even though he was not nursing directly. I kept pumping up until March of 2023 of this year. So starting from March was when I completely stopped breastfeeding. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. The act of going to work and having to pump was a whole nother ordeal for me. That could be a whole nother video if you guys are interested. So March was when I called it quits, and I had enough milk stored in the freezer to last my son up until he was 1, which was May. So during the months of March and April was when I started to notice that my edges were a little bit thinner than usual, but I still didn't think much of it. I didn't think postpartum shedding. I kind of brushed it off and moved on as usual. So in May of this year was when my son turned 1, and exactly 1 week after that, unfortunately, I found out that my dad had passed away. Of course, this caused a lot of stress in my body. That compounded with the hormonal changes that my body was going through as a result of me no longer breastfeeding. All of that put together, the hair shedding just rained down on me the following months. So during the month of June and July was when I experienced the bulk of the shedding. And when I tell you clumps and clumps of hair was coming out each wash day, the wash days during those months were just a nightmare. When I was done washing my hair, all you saw was huge clumps of hair in the trash. You would think I had threw an entire wig in my trash can. As someone who loves natural hair, promotes natural hair, is a natural hair enthusiast, experiencing this level of loss, of hair loss, was very traumatizing, very shocking for me. So that also led to even more stress and even more shedding. I would say the shedding started to die down a little bit during the months of August. To where it went back to normal shedding. And by normal shedding, I mean how my hair would shed pre-pregnancy. Now at this point, my hair looks very, very thin and the ends were see-through. And this is when I did like a mini chop. I had to chop off at least about 2 to 3 inches off of my ends because they were so see-through. I will try to insert a picture in here somewhere of what my hair looks like now, and you can try to compare it to what it did in December. So what I have learned going through this whole experience is that as women, our hormones are very disrespectful. For a whole month, if you don't have a baby, you get punished by bleeding for a whole week. And then when you do have a baby, your hormones are like, yay, we're excited. Have beautiful skin, have beautiful hair. And then after you have your baby and you are no longer breastfeeding, your hormones are like, oh, I'll take that beautiful skin back and that beautiful hair that I gave you and then some. And oh, by the way, you're back to bleeding for a whole week once a month. This is why we need to make sure we are staying on top of our mental and emotional health, because we are literally fighting our hormones every step of the way. Especially after you have a baby, bouncing back can be very, very difficult. And sometimes it feels like you never really do. I don't think I have the same body that I did before I got pregnant, and I don't think I ever will. My mental health is different. My emotional state is different. My whole being is different. So moving forward, what's the plan to get my hair back to healthy again? And the plan is for me to get back on a multivitamin for women. I'm just taking a general women's vitamins, and I'm making sure that it has ingredients in it that also supports healthy hair, skin, and nails. So by ingredients, I mean biotin, vitamin D, folic acid, and all the other necessary vitamins that we need to thrive. So that's what I'm doing. I also did some research and I found out that collagen is also very important when it comes to hair, skin, and nails. So I'm taking that as well. My hair care routine has not changed. I still wash my hair every 2 weeks. I keep my hair moisturized. I do low manipulation hairstyles. I trim my ends every 4 months, and I don't do any hairstyles that bring a lot of tension around my edges. So I'm going to continue doing that, plus taking the vitamins to help my body recover from all these experiences that it has been through. Postpartum in general is a lot. I'm not the only woman that has gone through this. Many others have, and some are still currently going through it as we speak. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comment section. Let's have a chat. If you've gone through this, if you have some tips and tricks that you want to share, please do so in the comments as well. And I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.